I just want to thank Jim and your late wife, Jane, for bringing Dave into our lives. He was the most loyal friend I had. Thank you.
My name's Tom, and I had the pleasure of meeting Dave when we played baseball together. I don't know if any of you guys have ever played baseball with Dave, but he was the home run hitter. He was the guy that you feared when he was coming up to bat. And I'm like, who is that guy? White hair, you know, just the most visible guy you ever saw. You know, I remember him driving in his mint-colored Bug, you know, to Point Loma High School. You see this, like this, you know, blazing white hair, and this guy in a mint Bug, and you go, look at that guy. You know, you just knew there was something special. He always ended up with like a, I don't know what it was, but like a mint-colored car. You know, it's like he drove the mint-colored Bug, he bought a mint-colored truck, and so we called him Mint-Mel after that. But it was just kind of an inside joke. But you know, I got to know Dave real good. We lived together 3 different times. I lived in 2 different rooms in his house, and we lived together on Toronto Street with a bunch of other guys. And David was the quiet contributor to people's lives. You know, he never really stuck out. He never really was the guy to bring everything to the party or try too hard. But he was the guy that was always there. You know, always being a part of the group. And I calculated that we spent 14 weeks together total, you know, on several different trips south of the border on the Baja Peninsula. And a guy like that, you know, riding shotgun with you, it's pretty critical to have a good guy who's not complicated, you know. And he was always invited back to ride shotgun in my truck. And you know, Dave was an interesting guy too. You know, he loved cactus. You know, it was the weirdest thing. You know, kind of growing up at his house. You know, living with him for a while, and he'd go out there and tend to the cactus. He was like the first guy before it was popular to, you know, start taking care of these what seemed to be otherwise a nuisance plant while everyone else is growing palm trees and whatnot. But you know, he got so excited about his cactus. He said, "See that cactus right there? That thing grew like 4 feet in 1 year." But you know, so I was going through all these pictures, and that's one thing he always wanted to do is when we were on these dirt roads out in the middle of nowhere, just stop next to this big saguaro cactus and take a picture. And you know, take a look at those guys. You know, Dave was a pretty big guy, you know, standing next to these massive cactus. So, you know, obviously Dave was, you know, a hell of an athlete. He, you know, took the kite surfing, kind of got me into that. We windsurfed together many times. We take a good trip up to the gorge with Jessica. We met her up there. Kind of an interesting story. We were at the gorge. We were, you know, windsurfing fanatics. We were talking to some locals up there, and they're like, "Oh, you haven't really hit the gorge until you've windsurfed it at night." So we're like, okay, we're talking to some folks and figuring out the right way to where to go and all that stuff. We found the launch, and we're like, we got to go. We're right here. This is the thing to do while you're here. So we launched at nighttime, windsurfing on the Columbia River Gorge. I lost sight of Dave for a little second. I was worried, turned on my lights. Next thing you know, I see Dave coming up the road. I guess he just came in at the wrong spot. But, you know, always pulling through, you know, to be there and be your co-pilot. So, Dave, you're always welcome to be my co-pilot, and enjoy the day.
I'm Mike, by the way. Remember the first time Dave paddled out at Nose? We kind of looked at them and we were going, who's this new kid? And after we started learning how to surf pretty well, we go, this guy's going to be good. And we used to call him the regular foot and tell him Carol the Cliffs. Because the guy ripped. And he always let his surfing do the talking, and he was never a man of a lot of words, and always showed respect, and loved the ocean as much as anybody here, and he's going to be sorely missed, and he was a class act.